every single job that I've had, I have been trained for things that made me better for the next job. And hopefully our young viewers can appreciate that. No matter what you're navigating through in today's job, you are learning skills that will take you to places you can't even imagine 10 or 20 years from now.
Welcome to the Up Your Average podcast, where Keith and Doug give no-nonsense advice to level up your life. So buckle up and listen closely to Up Your Average.
Good morning, Doug.
Keith, welcome back.
It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be strolling in Carmel, Indiana.
Have the newsletters gone out?
No. Well, January, but February has not.
I think you kicked off January's with something like "It's a great day to be alive."
I like it. I don't remember that because I write it and move on to the next day. But I like the little Travis Tritt to kind of remind me of that.
Well, Jeff Shreve would tell me before he'd leave the house, and it seemed like every day, but maybe it wasn't. But he would say, "Today could be the best day of your life." And I think that's a pretty good way to start your morning.
I had ambition to be a millionaire as a young man, and
congrats.
Yeah. Congrats on that ambition. And
what did you think a millionaire looked like when you wanted to be a millionaire?
Well, I grew up on Lombard in Evansville, so it was the other side of Washington Avenue. I was on the south side, so it was on the north side of Washington Avenue. But I don't even know that I knew anything. I just thought I should.
Probably a Lincoln Town Car and a driver.
That's hilarious. Maybe owning the St. Louis Cardinals would be a millionaire.
Millionaire.
Then I read The Millionaire Next Door and found out that I don't even know what he looks like because he does enjoy. It was Sam Walton drove that old pickup truck.
F-150, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Warren Buffett really ever. I mean, when you get to that level, you don't really need money because everybody wants to buy you stuff. And so, but yeah, I don't know if I had any ambition, but it's like what it would look like. I just thought I'll just try for that and see what happens. So pretty funny.
I wonder what the number for kids today is. $1 million enough? Or do they aspire? Yeah, do they say I want to be a billionaire?
Yeah.
That would probably be the equivalent. I'll have to ask Colton.
Maybe it's a half billionaire. I don't know. Because that would be like a billionaire is still a far stretch. I don't know.
Big time. Yeah. But $1 million was a pretty far stretch a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great lead in to today's conversation. The conversation is my worst job overpaid me. Did yours?
I reckon so.
You reckon so? I was just before we signed on looking, I made $2.65 an hour at that job, which would equate to $13.09 today with inflation. And I think Indiana is 7.25 or something like that minimum wage. I don't think anybody pays minimum wage, do you?
No. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
If you're getting minimum wage, call me. Let's get you bumped up in pay.
Yeah, I don't see any job like where their starting salary is $7.25. They're always in the teens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good help, hard to find.
So when I found 15 jobs that I've had.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
You did a deep dive.
Yeah, I was working on this exercise quite a while, and then I pondered those jobs to try to figure out which was the worst one. And when I was pondering those, I was thinking of some of the antics that happened in some of those jobs. As a paper boy, I couldn't get down the street. I had to come wake Dad up because there was a rat the size of a cat blocking the street. And so, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. My dad's like, oh. And it turns out what was blocking the street was something I'd not ever seen before, but it's called a possum. And so I got down the road past the possum. Then at my days at Burger King, they had kind of slushy ice back then. Like it wasn't ice cubes, so we would have ice ball fights in there. The floor would be caked with grease, and we'd have slick bottom shoes, and bodies were flying everywhere there.
And you washed your hands every time you put your hand in the ice thingy.
One of my thoughts. One of my thoughts from Burger King was what they taught me, the importance of cleanliness, because it could get kind of squirrely.
Makes a difference.
Yeah. Then I worked for the city of Evansville, and I believe it was called a CETA, CETA. I don't remember what that stands for, but I was a supervisor of these teenagers. And one of the fellas came in with a putter as his cane, and his leg was spackled, and he got shot with buckshot the night before. And the putter was his way of making it to his first day of work. So that was interesting. And then,
how did you become supervisor?
I think I must have known somebody. You were talking about that earlier. There was a shop teacher, which I don't even know if they do that anymore, that was in charge of me. And then he delegated us a certain number. That was the first time I ever even knew that pot was a thing. And these 15-year-olds are up in these old dilapidated houses smoking pot. And I had to, I'm guessing I burned the freaking house down. And so then I was a substitute delivery boy of newspapers for the Evansville Printing Corporation. And that was an early morning thing, and that I kind of saw the life of the street. The streets were alive, even whatever time you go there. Then I did some construction work, and I used cigarette loads to get back. Like, they would trash talk me for trying to get educated and stuff, so I had to get even with them. And then I worked for a computer room when they had to feed the cars, and that was the first time I understood that power corrupts. The computer operator was probably not much more than an hourly kind of minimum wage job, but he treated us college students like dirt. And so I started to realize, if you give somebody a title, they can really put it to you. And
like supervisor.
Oh yeah. And then I noticed that, and a lot of our young viewers would never know this, but in my days at Texas Instruments, if you were going into a conference room, you better be prepared, because it was going to be like walking into a smoke tank. Like, the cigarettes were just, yeah. I'd probably go weeks without even seeing somebody smoke a cigarette now. But the conference rooms, I don't know if you had.
No, I didn't have that.
Yeah,
I remember the teachers smoking. The teachers' lounge was a smoking hut.
Yeah, no, but
that's all I remember.
In the 80s, if you went into a conference room, you better beware. So anyway, what was your...
Well, what strikes me that's interesting about all of those jobs is, I think all of yours, you had taxes taken out.
No, that's what led me to my worst job, is that all my jobs that I had before my worst job were self-employed.
All of those jobs that you just listed? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of those jobs.
No, I was just saying antics in those jobs, but my worst job was my first one that I had taxes taken out. And I didn't even realize it until I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Is that why it was your worst job?
Yeah.
Did that tick you off? You're like, what in the world? I'm throwing tea into the river.
Yeah, no, I was disturbed by that, but there were many reasons why it was my worst job.
You seemed to that's what's really got you here.
No, but I'll elaborate when we get to that. But the whole point of this is I was overpaid because of the training value that I got in every single job that I've had.
Yeah.
I have been trained for things that made me better for the next job. And hopefully our young viewers can appreciate that. No matter what you're navigating through in today's job, you are learning skills that will take you to places you can't even imagine 10 or 20 years from now.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, I did though. I did, when I was thinking about it. I was thinking, if you frame your training as an important part of your role, then I think whatever role you're in will have a better perspective for you. But if you think the point of a job is a paycheck, I think if the point of a job is a paycheck, you're going to get stressed more often than not. And so being able to figure out what's the point of a job will help you figure out really what is your best and what is your worst job.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first? You or me with your worst job? Do you want to?
Well, I think my worst job, It was probably my senior year in college. I was fresh off a fantastic internship with Merrill Lynch.
Merrill Lynch.
And I didn't own fancy clothes. And so one of the guys that I was interning for bought me a suit. And I would wear that suit every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same suit, Friday. I had a couple ties, I think. But after that internship ended, I took a job, and I call it a job. I took a job at the Comfort Inn.
But Comfort Inn.
Now, Comfort Inn in Muncie.
So if you're shopping for a hotel for the Shreve family, would Comfort Inn make the cut?
Man, I wish my dad were sitting right here. No, it would not make the cut. I think, and I realize I'm spoiled. Okay, I'm just going to say that right out loud. I'm kind of a Hampton Inn kind of guy.
Okay.
I think that's good value for the dollar. It's not too fancy, but it's always just, you know what you're going to get. But the Comfort Inn, they hired me, and I'm grateful they hired me.
Now, let me interject. I put together a man trip, and that isn't a sexist thing. There's just a bunch of dudes going to Alaska.
I've stayed in Comfort Inns.
Well,
I would stay in one tonight.
Well, I don't know that.
But I would look for an Hampton first.
I know that Fairbanks has much more than a Comfort Inn. So if you've ever been to Fairbanks, it's just a different kind of town. So I did put that. So in case any of the attendees are viewing, we stayed in a Comfort Inn in Fairbanks.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to interject.
Nice continental breakfast. But yeah, so I worked the second shift. There were 3 shifts, and I was only there a month.
1 month.
Yeah, but you can learn.
Now, those of you who are watching, what's your shortest job span?
That was it for me.
Yeah, the shortest employee we ever had at Gimbal?
Yes.
Day and a half.
Yes, and that guy was my first mutual fund wholesaler. He taught me a lot about the business, actually.
Yeah.
But I worked at the Comfort Inn for a month, and it has a lifelong, a lot of lifelong benefits for me, which I'm going to tell you about. But I worked there for a month. I worked the second shift, and that was like, I can't remember what time I went in, but I left just after 11. So it was probably like 1 or 2 to 11. And it was busy, as you can imagine. You're checking people in come 3, 4 o'clock. You're making sure everything's good. You're running towels upstairs, stuff like that. You're like, oh no, they forgot the sheets. Okay, I'll put the sheets on the bed for you. That kind of stuff. And then you're in charge come 9:30 or so when things are quieting down. You're in charge of getting the nightly audit prepared and organized.
So we're auditing dollars? Is that what we're...
Yeah, pennies. Remember there were these things called pennies, which kudos to Chick-fil-A, by the way. They're rounding down on the pennies. Good job, Chick-fil-A. But so you'd have to count the drawer, get it ready, all this stuff. And I kind of liked that part, but I did not like being alone.
Okay.
I was the only guy there. And
I didn't like it for loneliness, or was fear involved?
No fear. Just I like people. I'm a people person. People would check in, they would leave. And so you really didn't have a relationship with anybody.
Right.
And I didn't care for that. But let me tell you the big win of working at the Comfort Inn, only for a month. I have huge empathy for the person behind the hotel desk. And to this day, like when I go to a hotel, I make sure I'm spending time with that person. I'm asking them about their day, asking them about the highlights of the year. I mean, I really want to make that person know they're great. So that's the major benefit that was not on the job description that I was going to learn there, nor did I even know that was going to be the takeaway. But that's the number one takeaway for me is, hey, there's dignity in work, treat people with respect.
Somehow, I've read a couple books that led me to that idea, and I've kind of even taught the Tyner kids when you go to hotels. Like I'm even thinking about the maids that are cleaning the rooms to like when you get ready to leave, you put all the towels on the toilet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Set the trash can on the sink.
Yeah.
So they're bending over all day long.
Yeah.
But like if I
You
can
strip your beds.
we don't do that, but if I
Leave a tip, I would tell you, leave a tip, just a little tip.
Yeah, it used to be $1 a day. It might be $2 now. I don't know. But if I could interject about what you just said, crazy story in Anchorage last week. I'm signing in for all the rooms with this young lady, and I looked down at her name tag, and her name was Miracle.
Okay.
And I said,
Cool name.
Miracle? Are you a miracle?
Yeah.
And she says, I am.
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, really? Tell me about that. She said, I was born dead.
Okay.
And I'm like, really? And she said, my dad wouldn't let him take me away. He said, give me her. And he held me and I came to life.
Dang. Power of a father.
And I was like,
power of God.
Yeah. And so,
wow.
I just kept asking her about it. And Miracle, because I took the time to interview, just gave us free parking while we were there. I thought, how kind of her. But Miracle probably hadn't anybody ask her about her name. And so it doesn't take a lot extra. No. But what you said is a really good point for everybody is when you're in places like that, you can add value to the situation.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's the job that comes to mind. I have some others that were W-2 jobs, but prior to that, I was all entrepreneur.
Really?
And it was just hustle entrepreneurship. So, when you're governed by someone else's schedule, time, and expectations, that was kind of a new thing for me.
Yeah.
And so to be stuck at the box of the comfort inn just wasn't my jam. And thankfully, I realized it quickly and got out.
There is no glory in staying someplace way too long.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe in commitments. And if you're going to, say you're going to do something, do it. But there are times when it's time to get out.
Yeah. I had a couple of those along the way too. So what else did you learn from the comfort inn besides the...
I mean, you had to show up on time. You were counted on. There wasn't anybody else coming in to save your shift. You had to count that drawer down perfectly. And if it wasn't, it came out of your wallet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was
what you were making an hour.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
To me, I loved to work and I wanted to have some money. So I was ambitious to do it, even if it was the comfort inn. But I couldn't tell you what it was. I couldn't tell you what I made.
So when you stepped foot in the comfort inn and you were only there a month, there couldn't have been much training for you then.
I had a lady who was very kind to me and just kind of showed me how she did it. She led the way.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, there wasn't any formal training, like watch these videos, study this policy handbook. No, she just kind of told me what she did and I tried my best to duplicate it.
One of my kids went to work for one of the national coffee chains, which you would assume had major training. And what she discovered, she had to go on YouTube and watch videos how to make the drinks.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's kind of interesting. But yeah, maybe training may be a obsolete thing.
Might be.
Yeah, getting into our industry. Yeah. I bet it was a 2-year training process where I would go, but I don't think people train financial advisors like that anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that is kind of the point of this conversation is whatever your job is you have, that there is some training that's going on. It's just not necessarily formal. It's positive and negative, right? Like the positive things you maybe figured out, people have cash drawers and they have to be pretty correct. And then the negative is like,
Experience is such a good teacher, and on-the-job training is the best.
Yeah.
Just as long as somebody will be patient with you.
Yeah, man.
How about you?
Well, I thought that getting a job was the thing. And I had a job, and I would probably been 14 or 15, but I had a lot of money because I had done the entrepreneurial things. And so my friend got a job at Burger King, and he had an in for me.
Yeah. Got to know people.
So,
Like I said earlier, it's all about relationships.
and so when I got to Burger King, they handed me this kind of shrink wrap bag with this polyester shirt that I was going to wear. And then I now was a man in a uniform. So that the Burger King, I think that they're saying was have it your way.
Have it your way.
And definitely working there was not my way. But I remarkably, I don't know how many times they fired me and rehired me, but it was a number because I had a sarcastic kind of bent to myself. And the managers there were, they thought they were the president of the United States, right? Like, and so they treated us hourly workers in a kind of a condescending manner, which brought out the sarcasm, right?
Right.
Yeah. So at
And you were how old?
15, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I usually work with a sarcastic friend. So like the little ebb and flow of that. But when I think of the things that not Texas Instruments, but Burger King taught me, and this is me just thinking back about it, is one of the ideas they taught me was to be a salesperson.
Okay. Would you like a large fry?
Yeah. The add-on, which...
The add-on clothes?
Yeah, which it wasn't my strong suit because it just seemed hokey to me. But when you hear now as a kind of a seasoned salesperson, when you hear somebody ask for the add-on, I smile.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't even have the jumbo meals back then. They just had a large or something like that. Or if you just ordered a hamburger, would you want fries with that? But really, learning sales early is a big deal.
Yeah, and learning a product.
Right. And so that I thought was something I learned. I thought it was silly at the time, but it was important to know because as a young stockbroker, I would go for the add-on sale because I needed to pay rent back then, right?
Oh, yeah. Would you like a bond with that stock?
Exactly. If you like Walmart, what do you think about Dollar General? And there is a country western song, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. I discovered that the public is a little peculiar working at Burger King.
Yeah.
That helped because really I hadn't really experienced the public in a broader spectrum before I worked there. And they just a lot of times aren't kind. And that didn't at first it was a little off-putting, but it helped me to realize, I live in a little bubble here, and a lot of people aren't like what I experience, and they may be really mean to you. And probably I reverted back to what I learned, on the playground: sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, so that I could kind of take it in.
Make you go home and thank your parents at the end of the day.
It would. And also what I learned about that is I personally wouldn't talk trash in a drive-through window to anybody.
Yeah.
You figure out why. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Little bonus for you. Yeah. So.
That's the title of this podcast. Don't talk trash in the drive-through.
Yeah, if you do that, I would stop.
Buyer beware.
Exactly. I would stop. You have teenagers stuffing a bag full of food. You figure it out. And this one that I learned really, it's kind of a funny one. It's kind of an ADD or an OCD thing. Is I learned to break down cardboard boxes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it really helped me in business. At first, probably as a teenager, I thought it was stupid, but they only have so much room in their dumpster, right? And if you throw a cardboard box in there, it's going to raise the cost of their trash things. And so the idea of breaking down a cardboard box is thinking longer term about something. And I think that's one of the gifts I have in business is that I can look at the present situation, but I can project it forward. Like I can project.
That's awesome.
If you throw big boxes in a dumpster, you're going to have a higher chance there. And so it's kind of a weird thing that I just learned to break it down. And I recognize a lot of people don't think that way because maybe they never worked at the King, So that just, I saw it as a principle of thinking long term about situations. So it was good.
That's good.
And my final and most important lesson that I learned is a paycheck is limiting. And that's what you had, right? Like a paycheck was not all that in a bag of chips. I just forgot what I knew before I had my first paycheck. And it was my first W-2 job. Probably was a little angry at like all the beneficiaries on that check because I only paid before that. We knew we were supposed to pay taxes, right? Like when I was mowing yards.
Right.
I don't think I ever did it. In case you're listening, IRS, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
and you've caught up since.
I'm sure I've overpaid since. So, yeah. So when I thought about that,
yeah, that's a big deal.
the hours,
I remember
my pay was limited on when somebody told me I could work.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, I could work anytime I wanted. And I would do all kinds of things, shovel driveways, shovel sidewalks, and just entrepreneurial about it, and never lacked for cash before that. But so I was at the mercy of those managers to get hours. And if I had annoyed them the week before, they're probably not giving me hours.
Yeah.
And so I was limited by what they said I was worth, what they chose to pay me. And it limited my possibilities. I just, I did elevate in there. I went from feeding hamburgers on the hamburger machine. It was a conveyor belt. You put a frozen hamburger on it, and then you go down and put it on the bun and put it in the steamer and all that. Then they let me get to the fryer, and then when they figured out I could count, they put me on the drive-through window. And so we had a lot of things going on. However, I look back on it and smile at that time, but it was hard work. It literally stunk. Like I would go home and I couldn't get the smell off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So that was the Burger King. And I just wanted to have kind of this conversation with you because maybe a lot of our young viewers are in their first job, maybe out of college, or maybe they're younger viewers and they're trying to figure out what work is about. But I think what I would encourage you is to realize that work is more than just your paycheck. Like, even if you're in a job you don't care for right now, there's something going on there that's carving your character to something better for the years ahead.
Oh, yeah. Even if it doesn't show up on your resume, that would be my message to especially some of you who are seeking the perfect internship. Like work has such big time value to your future. It's not what's on your resume. It's it's what it builds inside of you.
I think all of the jobs that I've had have influenced me in a way that I could work almost anywhere. Like they have impacted me to realize that a key driver for me is I'm going to work so I can help people.
Yeah.
And if I can help people, it adds meaning to life. And if I just look at it as a paycheck, even if it's the biggest paycheck I could ever imagine, there's no meaning in that, I don't think. But when you realize I can take the skills, the God-given talents I have, and employ them in a way that help people, it's really a cool thing. So like in my world system, my world view, I look highly upon my trash man. Like I just think that man is awesome. And and I could do that job if I had to, because I could frame that job in that I'm helping people. And if I could frame it that way, then I look at him as that he's helping me. I would be in a world of hurt without his participation in my life.
I could run on that with just a lot of joy, because we talked about the garbage truck guy in our neighborhood over dinner the other night, and he is the man, and he's a cool man. And so, yeah, I could talk about that guy for a while.
Yeah, our mailman for many years was Ted, and Ted the mailman. I'm sure there's all calibers of mailmen, but Ted knew this principle because we had moved out of our former house, I don't know, a decade, and people were still sending things, but that was still in his route. And he took care of it, whereas maybe subsequent postal carriers didn't view it that way. And so the level of service was completely different from Ted. but they probably didn't frame their world as they were helping people. So
Ted must have worked at Burger King.
maybe he did, or he could have done other. Maybe he was a McDonald's. We aspired to be a McDonald's guy. Like you could get McDonald's, man. You were the dude. Yeah. We're the second rate citizen.
So cool.
Well, I'd love to hear from you guys. What work has taught you? What your most of you that are watching, I don't have any idea what your worst job was, but I bet you got some funny stories that we would love to hear about.
Yeah.
Well, until we see you guys again, I hope your weekend's a good one. If you're in Evansville, man, put on those warm clothes and get ready with the snow shovel. And in the meantime, thanks for hanging out with us today.